call to order the meeting for January 25th, 2016. Could everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Larry Armstrong. Here. Jacqueline Asbill.
Here.
Michelle Hayes.
Here.
Kelly Tromba.
Here. Okay. We are appointing a new board member this evening. His name is Sean Douglas. Can I get a motion to approve that?
So moved.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Larry Armstrong.
Yes.
Jacqueline Asbill.
Yes.
Michelle Hayes.
Yes.
Kelly Tromba.
Yes.
Vote is 4-0.
Welcome aboard, Jess.
Thank you.
Happy to have you.
Does Sean come up here?
Yes.
Yeah. Come on up, Sean.
Okay, that wasn't much training.
Okay, I need to administer the oath of office. So if you will raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that you will faithfully and impartially perform your duties as a board member of the Board of Education of the Madison Local School District in Lake County, Ohio, to the best of your ability and in accordance with the laws now in effect and hereafter to be enacted during your continuance in said office and until your successor is elected and qualified?
I do.
Thank you. If you can sign that.
Sure.
I just want to take a second to say that we had 3 really great candidates, and it was a difficult decision, but I definitely think we have a great person that we've selected here. I think he's going to be a great member of our team, and thank you so much for wanting to take on this duty, and congratulations.
Thank you. I look forward to working forward with, I look forward to working with all of you, board members, administration, parents, to provide the best educational opportunities we can in Madison for our kids.
Great, thank you.
Welcome again.
Welcome. Okay, approval of the agenda.
I'll move.
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call.
Jacqueline Asbill.
Yes.
Sean Douglas.
Yes.
Michelle Hayes.
Yes.
Kelly Tromba.
Yes.
Larry Armstrong.
Yes.
Vote is 5-0.
Okay, approval of the minutes for the December 1st, 2015 meeting.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Sean Douglas.
Abstain.
Michelle Hayes.
Yes.
Kelly Tromba.
Yes.
Larry Armstrong.
Yes.
Jacqueline Asbill.
Yes.
Vote is 4-0-1.
Okay, and I need a approval or a move for the approval of the minutes for the special meeting from December 5th, 2015.
Move. I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Michelle Hayes.
Yes.
Kelly Tromba.
Yes.
Larry Armstrong.
Yes.
Jacqueline Asbill.
Yes.
Sean Douglas.
Abstain.
Vote is 4-0-1.
And for the approval of the meeting of the minutes of the regular meeting from December 15th, 2015.
So moved.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Kelly Tromba.
Yes.
Larry Armstrong.
Yes.
Jacqueline Asbill.
Yes.
Sean Douglas.
Abstain.
Michelle Hayes.
Yes.
Vote is 4-0-1.
Okay, now we have time for board member reports. Does anyone have anything that they want to discuss or anything they want to say? Well, I will just say that I attended the district-wide spelling bee today at the middle school, and I was very honored to be there and be able to be present when they were passing out awards It was a great group of kids. I was very impressed with some of the words that those kids were spelling. And David Bull, you did a really great job of doing the announcing. And Mike, you did a great job of being a judge. Thank you very much. And you know, the kids did a fantastic job. It was a nice time. Nice to be a part of that. Anyone else?
It was a great morning, and I was happy to pass the torch.
Happy to receive it.
Okay, if we don't have any more board member reports, then we're on to our first public participation. This is for anyone in the audience that has any comments or questions that they want to make regarding anything that's on the agenda. There will be a second public participation at the end of the meeting for anything that you want to discuss.
Okay.
Looks like we don't have any public participation at this time.
I guess that anyone in the audience.
Okay, on to reports and recommendations of the treasurer.
Thank you. I have one item to discuss. If you could grab one and pass it down. Prior to the items that appear on the agenda for your approval. As you know, for the last 3 years, the Madison Schools has a fiscal agent agreement with the Lake County Schools Council, our insurance consortium, to provide fiscal agent services. That 3-year agreement is up June 30th, 2016. The executive committee of the Lake County Schools Council approached me and asked if we would like to, instead of going through the RFP process, if it would be okay with us and this board to just sign up for another 3 years. I told them I was all in favor of it. I love doing the work for them, but I have to run it by this board first. I have put in a 2% increase from the current year to next year in each of the following years. And just to give you an idea of what kind of profit the district realizes from this fiscal agent service agreement, myself and my staff provide treasurer services to the Lake County Schools Council. 11-member consortium with about $30 million, $32 million in revenue and expenses. For that, the district makes a little over $30-some thousand. The first year of the agreement that Madison was a part of was 2014. We charged them $30,000 and our expenses were about $8,600. So we profited about $21,500 on the deal. And part of that was because some of the work was billed to the prior district that held the agreement. Because the audit work is always performed after the fiscal year, even though all the payments are received in the prior fiscal year. In 2015, we charged them $31,500 and our expenses were about $12,300. So that's about a 61% profit. And for the first half of fiscal year 2016, we're running at about a $9,000 profit for halfway through the year, about 55%. I expect that percentage to go up because there's a lot of work involved every year when the auditors are in, because it is audited every year, and there's less work in the second half of the fiscal year. So I expect to still earn somewhere around a 60% profit. I'm bringing this to you tonight because the school council has decided they're going to put it on their February 5th. Executive committee meeting for approval, and I didn't want them to do that if there was any issue with going forward with this fiscal agent agreement. So if you have any questions or concerns, you can let me know. Hopefully within the next couple of days, so they don't approve it and then this board won't approve it.
Is there anybody else even remotely interested in doing this, or are they just happy to have you doing it?
A little column A, a little column B. They've been thrilled with the work that we've been performing for them. They're happy with the reports we provide, the trust that we instill in the members, that their finances are in good shape. All 6 of the audits that I've been a part of for the consortium, because I was fiscal agent at the prior district, have been clean audits, no management letter comments. It's been, they're in here in 2 days, they're done, clean audit, they move on. And that's pretty much what you want out of your treasurer. I mean, it's as easy as it can be on the rest of the consortium. At the last meeting, they had 3 treasurers there that represented 4 districts, and all of them said they don't want it. I don't know why. I like it, but we'll take it. If the district can profit off of this, then we might as well do it.
personally, I appreciate it. If you're willing to do the extra work and we can make money, I'm all for it, and I appreciate your willingness to do that.
And your extra work. Thank you.
Okay, 2 items on the agenda. The first one, I'm seeking approval for the financial reports for all funds, the fund-to-fund transfer report, and the check payment register for December 2015.
So moved.
I'll second.
Comments or questions? Just so you're aware, he emails these to us ahead of time, and we have an opportunity to look at them. Roll call, please.
Larry Armstrong,
Yes.
Jacqueline Asbill,
Yes.
Sean Douglas,
Abstain.
Michelle Hayes,
Yes.
Kelly Tromba.
Yes.
Vote is 401. And the next item, or items, are to accept a generous donation of 2 $8 gift certificates from Maggie's Donuts to Madison High School Key Club to be used for Project Unify. A generous donation of 4 $5 gift cards from Madison Dairy Queen to Madison High School Key Club to be used for Project Unify and PBIS. A generous donation of $250 from Elster American Meter Company to Madison High School Key Club to be used for Project Unify and PBIS. And a generous donation of $100 from Crossroads Community Church to Madison High School Key Club to be used for Key Club activities.
So moved. I'll second.
I'd be interested to know what the Key Club's doing for Project Unify.
They are doing, I think, some door prizes type things.
Are they?
Yeah. little
That's really
raffles.
cool.
Yeah, so
I don't want to ruin any surprises. I just,
they're doing some things with this.
that's nice.
Yeah.
I just want to say real quick that I am very happy with every meeting now. We are approving multiple donations for Key Club to be used in various places. So thank you so much to those at Key Club that are soliciting those donations and the people that are in our community that are willing to give them. It's fantastic how many donations they've gotten recently. Anyone else? Roll call?
Jacqueline Asbill,
Yes.
Sean Douglas,
Yes.
Michelle Hayes,
Yes.
Kelly Tromba,
Yes.
Larry Armstrong.
Yes.
Vote is 5-0. And that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Any reports to the administrative team?
All right, well, the first thing I would like to start with is, this is School Board's Recognition Month. We changed the poster today. School Board's work is a work of the heart. As you know, each year in January, the Ohio School Boards Association recognizes members of boards of education for their service to public schools. Without those in the community willing to step up and serve in the capacity of board members, public schools could not exist. On behalf of the Ohio School Boards Association and the residents in the community of Madison, thank you to each of you for your dedication and service. And we have for you so pass them out. And because my assistant is that good, we have one for Sean tonight.
Oh, fantastic.
She is that good on the computer. Whoops, I got it.
I'm already exhausted.
I know, right? And, okay, I was gonna get a cake, but because we had enough cupcakes left over from the spelling bee, I did repurpose them.
This is a really nice one. I don't remember them being this nice. This
No,
is
I know, they went with that theme, a work of heart, and, you know, those were provided by OSBA, but like I said, my assistant is very good with the computer. I said, can we get Sean a certificate for tonight?
Well, thank you.
Fantastic.
It is a thankless job, as you know. Not many people want to do these jobs in the state of Ohio even. They've seen less and less turnover on boards because they aren't getting people to step up. That was one of the messages we heard at a conference a couple weeks ago from Rick Lewis. So thank you for your service and what you do for our students each and every day. Anybody else? All right, I have quite a lengthy report tonight, so I'm going to start with a reminder, because we've talked about it a couple times. Project Unify is February 3rd, so that is next Wednesday. I do believe it's at 10 o'clock. I always get over there about 9:30 so that I'm out of the crowd of students trying
Game
to
starts
get
at
in.
10:30, but
10:30, yeah.
festivities start around 10.
Right. So there'll be some things, I think, in the cyber cafe for the students that are playing with their partners and some of the teachers and advisors. So feel free to drop by the high school starting at 10 o'clock. I will put all those details in this week's update. And I have to thank, the high school team and Jacqueline's daughter Haley, who's very passionate about this project, and Jessica McPeak, who chaired the event this year as the high school senior. A lot of work has been put into making sure this thing is a great event for all.
I have to say, Haley is so excited, and she came home today. They must have had a meeting of some sort, her and Jessica, and she said that usually they put signs up for kids to sign up to be in the spirit section, and they had so many kids signing up for the spirit section, they had to take the signs down because everybody was signing up for the spirit section. I think they took the signs down. They had them up the list down in a very short time, and there was like 130 signatures in a very short period of time, and they realized everyone's just going to put their name on the board. So they said, they've got to rethink that strategy. But it's a great problem to have, and it seems to be really coming together very well.
It is.
Very excited.
It is very exciting. Saturday, I was up at Lee Durzik's home and had a coffee with 5 members of the community, and it was a great morning. We started around, I think, 10:15 and went until about 12:30. When I got there, I said, I feel like I'm at a Pampered Chef party and I don't have anything to sell. I'm just selling the wonderful things about our schools and having some honest dialogue. And got a lot of good feedback from those present. I will summarize the notes that I took for you in this week's update. I do believe, one big theme was communication, how we communicate, what messages we send. We have to continually work on that aspect of from all levels of the organization. Whether, we're an administrator, whether we're a counselor, whether we're a teacher, we need to continually check our process. So that was good. There was a huge focus on academics, not just for the kids in the middle, but what we're doing to meet some of those upper students' needs. And that was an interesting conversation. They love the popular annual financial report. I asked for some feedback on the newsletter. They thought that was good. I told them my plans for the next one would probably be right around when we release the strategic plan. And I had some good feedback from my Business Advisory Council on that as well, and some things that we need to put in. All these meetings are starting to blur together, and I have all sorts of notes everywhere. I have some future coffees scheduled. I have one next Monday at Open Door, and that's going to be hosted by Tammy Gaber and Tina Green. I think it's 8:30. I will double check that time, and I will put it in the update.
Sure, Monday the 1st?
I have one February 10th at the YMCA. I'm going to come in right around the time the Silver Sneakers finish up. It's like their community day, so they have people in and out all day. But that's going to be right around 10 or 10:30. I have another meeting in the morning that I have to attend, and then I will go right to that.
Sure, I'm sorry, can you repeat that? You said the 10th?
February 10th, yeah. So we are making strides. I had a teacher email me that was going to try and attend the coffee on Saturday, that was willing to host one in Huntington Woods. So it's this communication, talking to people, getting the word out, and then, at the end of Saturday's coffee, because I will talk about that in a little bit about, things that we learned in this levy seminar we went to last week. They said, how can I help? How can I help? Well, I have everybody's name, and I know they're all parents, so I know how to get their information. And we are going to circle back and make sure that we get them to help. So, but overall, it was a great morning. I really had a good time.
Thank you for doing that, Angela. Obviously, we don't fill the seats here.
Well, that's what I said.
So if you have to go to them, I think they'll be more honest with you and ask the questions that they want one-on-one.
Yep.
Is a lot better than coming here. It's a little too formal for people. So thank you for doing the work.
No, it was very enjoyable, and I learned a lot from that morning too. So, next thing I have for everybody is your favorite documents, but a final resolution of the Aldi TIF. So do what you want with that. It's, you know, but it was approved at the Township Trustees January 12th meeting. So I'm just passing the news on. They did, I think, request, you know, tell us they were doing this, I think, back in the fall sometime. So this is just the finalization of that. Anything? No, I'm gonna keep moving. We did go through, Mike and I, and look at tentative board meeting dates, based on the first and third Tuesdays. Okay, that's okay. So we did make a few changes to that based on some things in the school calendar. And as always, if we need to move things as we get further in the year, that's not a problem. But if you look at spring break, there's no meetings that fall through that, so the first Tuesday is April 5th. May 17th, though, was a board meeting night. That is the senior awards night, and I typically, well, I know some people are going to be involved in that, and I typically am there to, you know, present some awards and say a few remarks, so we ask that you push that meeting back to May 24th. Seniors will be gone. Seniors will be gone, and it will be the last week of school. June 28th is better for the year-end appropriations for Mike. July 5th, Mike is going to be out of town, and we typically only have one meeting in July. And we are not conflicting this year with the OSBA Capital Conference.
Just curious, not that it'll matter because I won't have my kids during spring break, but when is spring break?
March 25th through April 1st. Easter's early this year.
March 25th through April 1st?
Did you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be right.
Should be the 20th.
It's very early
Yep.
this year. This is the year it falls early. And then a meeting coming to you probably sometime next month will be the school calendar for next year, the first reading of it.
Real quick, does anyone see any dates that stand out to them that conflicts with like vacation or anything? All looks good, Sean?
Sure does.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you.
All right. Because I think you voted on those dates, are we just going to do another motion next Tuesday on the agenda to finalize the board meeting dates?
That's probably a good idea, since we did them as first and third, this way we can put the actual dates in. And we
So
have to
we will
change
put
those
that
then.
on next week's agenda for your approval. All right, I want to spend a little bit of time this evening talking about this levy seminar that Dave and I went to, and please chime in wherever, you know, you think I'm missing some information. What was really interesting, because I've been to several different workshops in OSBA and a variety of things, and I thought, okay, what's one more seminar that, you know, what are we going to learn that we haven't learned? Wow. That's all I can say is we both left there and went, wow, we learned quite a bit. The person putting on the seminar was a former teacher in Lakewood, and just really has a passion for, he was a government teacher, so I think it makes sense that he studies campaigns and understands them a little bit. And his whole approach is, you got to be proactive prior to going on the ballot. And there's a lot, he had a whole lot of different research related to different techniques. And I'm not going to go into all of that tonight. When we get closer to making some decisions about that, I will. But one of the most interesting pieces of data that is just, it explains so much for us, that of our 10,099 registered voters in Madison, 48% of our voters track low support. right out of the gate. 41% are persuadable, and 11% are high support. So if you look at why ballot initiatives have not been successful for increases in taxes, excluding bond issues, it makes a whole lot of sense, because you're already dealing with 48% that don't support. Because we have in this book, for every school district in the state of Ohio, the data. So if you go to like an Aurora, it's totally flip-flopped. 48% of their people are high support, and on that low support end is like 17%.
Can I ask how they come up with that? What criteria are they using to determine those statistics?
I don't know specifics. I know that they teamed with Bowling Green State University, and the whole program is based on research. This is one of the pieces of data that they were able to pull. I don't know if they surveyed folks, if they just looked at the voter response over a period of years. It probably explains it in a book that we were given last week.
So was this put on by OSBA?
No, it was actually put on by Cuyahoga County Education, ESC. They hosted it.
And do they have it available online? I know that they have some things available.
I have the book, so I will be able to make some copies of that, but I just wanted to sort of introduce you to some of the things that we talked about there during that workshop. I think it is very telling. One of the things that the presenter, and his name's escaping me right now, said that he's working with another district in the Sandusky area, I think it's Perkins Local Schools, and the woman is taking kind of the same approach, trying to build support demographics or, on this low support, persuadable, high support are the same. And she's doing this bit by bit, copies, talking to people, building that base. Another piece that was very apparent is that we need to reach that larger community. A ballot initiative can't be the 9 of us sitting at this table. And, getting a full committee. I mean, if you look at our last 2 campaigns, we did not have a full committee. We had pretty much administrators and board and pulling in people where we needed to come. Another really good thing that he talked about was developing talking points that all stakeholders have. Now, he talked about that in the sense of a campaign, but I truly believe that everybody in this district should have key talking points, that when they're talking about Madison local schools, they're talking through those talking points, the lens of those talking points. And I think that's one of the things we'll get to in the strategic planning process, because we can't have friendly fire, because sometimes that hurts us as much as anything else. Those informal conversations at the grocery store where somebody's complaining about something in the schools and, oh, by the way, they're a school person. That was a very key point. And then the other thing that he talked about was that, whatever your levy committee has to have a solid financial base and spend money on the things that are going to make a difference. And one of those is, as much as we don't like it, door to door. That personal one-on-one communication. We've gotten away from that in the last several campaigns. Signs are okay. Phone calls, because of the ever-changing phone numbers and people not having that solid home phone anymore, it's not as reliable. It's one way of reaching people. He talked about the one district that spent their money on the levy campaign on magnets, and they lost by a significant margin. So what is your messaging, and what are you spending that money on? So honestly, as a levy consultant, he will work with levy committees when we decide if and when that's going to happen. I think it would be a good expenditure for our levy committee. He's not very expensive. I think it's like $450 to $600. His success rate in November was 11 passes, 1 failure. Now, he's usually a little over 50%. He said November was an exceptionally unique election, because I think of the one ballot initiative on there, it sort of speeds some elections. But it was a very worthwhile morning. We needed to get back for another meeting, so we didn't see the end of it, but we do have his, you know, each of us has a copy of the book, and I can share some things in there with you. Any questions? Thank you. All right, then I will move into strategic planning, and I know I gave you a copy of the whole plan last week, but I didn't give you a copy of this, and I have another copy in case you want one. If not, you can just leave them on the end of the table with Pat.
Yeah, Sean will need a copy.
Yes, yes, I have 9 copies here. This is the visioning activity. Susan was much more adept at getting a plan than I was, so she was able to accomplish that today. So that's what everybody put on the visioning activity and all the different categories that came out of that. So that's how they sorted that out. And then the SWOTs for each of those start on the first part of this packet. And then from there, we have the goals broken out. And if you notice underneath that, because I think that's the part for the next activity, is how are we going to work on implementing those goals. So we have the goals, what the objective is, and then what the different strategies are underneath. And that's the next part of our work. And to that end, Deanne gave me 3 days, well, she gave me 4, but I will preface, one was when I was in Arizona and I got beat up. So I took that one right out. February 3rd, February 10th, and February 18th. She can do late afternoon, early evening. I know I saw February 3rd is your band meeting for Florida today. I was looking at the Fishstone, Kelly, so that probably is not good.
That's Wednesday.
Yeah. The 10th or the 18th.
I am out of town the February 10th. I'm leaving the 7th, and I'll be back.
The 18th.
10th isn't good for me either.
Okay, so would the 18th work for
18th works
everybody?
for me.
As long as, you know, we, I think, do it in early evening, you know, I'd like to be done by probably 7, 8 o'clock, because the next morning, I think we're just going to the airport, leave for Arizona on the 19th, but I will be packed and they'll stay at the airport that night.
Do we need to make that a meeting so that all of the board members can participate?
We will make it a meeting, we'll post it as a meeting like we did the one that
Can she
Jim.
come the 16th then? Because we're already all here.
Well, it's gonna be a lot to fit in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will get more details about what time, and, yeah, we want that to probably be a little more casual,
Okay.
and I'll bring, you know, business advisory that we're a part of those subgroups in.
Sure.
I'll invite Mr. Wicker to be a part of that, and we'll, you know, go from there.
3 months.
Okay? February 18th.
Should we plan, I don't know, do we plan on refreshments? Should we?
Yeah, I will plan on something, depending upon the time, it might even be, you know, pizzas
Okay.
and, you know, or Subway, something like that, but we'll have something so people aren't, you know, famished. We want them focused.
Sure.
All right, I have 2 remaining items. You know, you saw that the first part of the report card was released 2 weeks ago. I have to say I'm very happy with what they've done with the graduation rate at the high school. We have an A in the 4-year graduation rate, a B in the 5th year. You know, of all the things we do, graduating students and sending them off to be productive, that was something that came from my coffee on Saturday. is the most important thing we do. Giving students skills to be successful in life, at whatever their level. And so I'm very happy with that graduation rate, and what the high school has done to accomplish that. The third grade guarantee rating was a C, and I am learning more and more about how those data is calculated, because they take the cohort entering in kindergarten and they track them through third grade, and if they're on a plan in kindergarten and how well you are at meeting through interventions, that target is how you rate. So North was rated, I think, a D, but South wasn't rated because not many kids in kindergarten that year that they tracked it qualified for a reading improvement plan. It's so crazy. For me, at the end of the day, what matters is how many students have not met third grade guarantee when the rubber meets the road, when they take one of the two assessments and meet that number. And that's only a couple kids every year. And I know students with special needs, some of them are, very few, but some of them take the test and they've met the requirement, but aren't impacted by having to be retained.
Right.
But each year, our numbers have been relatively small, 2 to 3 students that start the following year, not meeting the requirement, we do some more intervention, and then they're placed with their 4th grade peers. So we're doing pretty well in all areas for that. The next release will be sometime in February if the EMIS data can ever get fixed at the state level. They're still having a difficulty pulling different test results and reports from last year. EMIS people are pulling their hair out because they're reporting last year's test data. This year's test data started to come in. They have this year's reporting that they're doing, but nowhere in EMIS did they sort of break this stuff up. So fiscal year 15 and fiscal year 16 are all sort of meshed together.
It's messy.
It's very messy. It's very messy. And then finally, because what I just talked about, graduation being one of the most important things we do, we have 2 co-valedictorians this year, Heather Marie Tanner and Edward Bailey Stocker. Heather Marie's GPA is 4.561. Edward Bailey Stocker's 4.560. So they're separated by 0.001 of a percentage point, as Mr. Fisher will talk, and he'll use the right math term because he's a math guy. And then we have 5 salutatorians.
Holy cow.
Jacob Ray Smith, Alyssa Marie Keller, Michelle Christine Glasswich, Matthew Ryan Lowry, and Jack Robert Rieger. And they are all also very close in that 4.5 is Jacob, and then the last one I read was 4.486. They are looking at, so that we're not listening to 7 speeches, I think they're going to try, the valedictorians will do the speeches, and then they're going to try to do something a little different with the salutatorians. That will look like one long, bigger speech. So Mr. Fisher is working very hard on that.
He's good at that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he loves that kind of
That's
stuff.
his forte.
All
I
right,
know I have it on my calendar at home, but just so I can write it in here real quick, what day is graduation?
May 21st.
Have the Kleenexes ready.
I will put them on your
All
chair.
right.
I will be in charge of that.
Stuff him up a sleeve.
That's what we've changed.
Blair, do you need Kleenexes?
I'll be okay.
You'll be okay?
You say that now.
You don't tear up, Blair.
Oh, I cried. I cried.
I cried. I always cry at graduation. It's just, I tear up all the time.
I cried before graduation when my son said, "I'm not going to graduation." I'm like, what? He's like, "What do I need that for, Mother? I graduated. I don't need a piece of paper that tells me I graduated. I'll get it afterwards." I'm like, "You're going. You have to go."
All right, I am now going to pass it over to Mr. Bull, who has a few items.
Thank you. Just a quick additional note about the spelling bee this morning. It was fun. I've been doing the spelling bee this was my 12th year of doing it now, so I was glad to pick it up and run with it here. Our winner this year was a 7th grade student. His name is Carter Horvath, so I'd like to congratulate Carter. He was up against a tough group. And Carter will represent our school district at the Lake County Spelling Bee. It's February 18th at Auburn Career Center. So I think I'll probably go straight from strategic planning over to Auburn to watch how Carter does representing us. Tutoring is up and running at the elementary level as well as middle school. We have a number of students who have been identified as needing extra support who are staying after school. We're providing transportation for them, and they're receiving extra support in the areas of math and reading. And at the middle school, students who have been identified are receiving extra support during the school day, so often being pulled from study halls, where possible. And both of these efforts are being supported by Title I funds. Title I funds at the elementary and Title I school improvement funds at the middle school. So that's all up and running, and hopefully, our programming will yield good results for these students and help close the gap. And finally, I know it's a little early at this point, but just a quick update on state testing. Our team of state test coordinators within the district are meeting regularly. We'll be meeting between now and the April 4th beginning of state testing to make sure that we can pull it off and work all the technology and get our paper and pencil tests out to our elementary students without any kinds of issues. So it's changed this year from last year. It's changed a little bit from fall to spring. So we'll be working through those changes and adjustments, and hopefully, we can have a smooth run at testing. There is a new test. You may have heard of the OTELA test. That's an assessment that assesses English language acquisition for our English language learners. That is now called the OELPA. So we have more letters to memorize. And I'm sorry to say I don't know what OELPA stands for, but it is a test of language acquisition. Kelly Chandler and Pam Garrow will be administering it beginning February 28th, and this is K to 12. So they'll be working with kids across the district from February 28th, through into almost May. So their whole second semester will be spent working this assessment. And that's been the case for a while with this type of test. Second semester, they spend a lot of time assessing our students. And that's my update for the evening. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Piggyback on that, I did read today that Congress, one of their focuses is going to be on the English language learner. So I don't know what that's going to mean, but I'm sure whenever Congress is involved, that means more requirements.
Hopefully means more money.
I just wanted to touch on when you say the tutoring at the middle school. And my son doesn't have any specific tutoring, but I have been very pleased with the support that he gets in his study halls from the teachers. And I know that we have a problem with too many study halls, but I've also heard from some other parents whose children have also been receiving support from those teachers in study hall. So I'm very pleased, that the teachers are willing to give the kids the extra support that they need, or, the ones that need them. So I've had a good experience with it myself.
I think the teachers have seen the need that if they're in there, they want these kids not using it as a, goof off time. And, I was just in a meeting with a group of teachers this afternoon, and one of the things they talked about was, how they run their study halls. And one of them said, well, I look at how many assignments these kids might have missing for the week in various classes, and then they don't get to do anything but get caught up during the week. And then next Monday, I look at the list again, and if it seems better, they get a few more privileges. So the teachers really are taking responsibility, and I applaud them for that, because middle school and idle hands is never a good thing. So keeping those students focused is absolutely imperative. All right, ready to move into my recommendations?
I have a couple things if I may.
You may.
Thanks. Just to update you on some of the things in special ed that We've had the therapy dog to South Elementary to visit with the kids in the autism and ED units 3 or 4 times now. So Isabella's been out. It's been incredibly positive for the kids, and it's been a motivator for some of our kids who have a difficult time. And when they know Isabella is coming, we've seen even better behaviors. So we're working on a few more times for her to come. And again, Julie, the dog's owner, takes either vacation time or comp time from work in order to bring the dog out here. So by the end of the year, I'd like to send, a thank you to her for the time she's donating really to Madison kids, and she's not from Madison. She just has a dog that she wanted to have trained as a therapy dog and to help kids. So it's been really positive for us. I'd love to have her in every building every day, but we'll take what we can get for now. The other thing I'd like to mention, I don't have a specific date, but in March or April, we're going to have an event. During the day, we're going to have a presentation at the middle school for some of the middle school students, and then some high school students that Mr. Fisher will send over. And then an evening, Sandy and David Petrovic wrote a book. It's a mother and son, and David is under the autism spectrum. He does have Asperger's. And so they came and they spoke to the Lake County ESC, well, really it's a state support team at the Lake County ESC, along with Dr. Katie Kramer from Lake Erie College, started a support group for parents, for students with autism. And through that, they had David and Sandy out just before Christmas break. And it was a very inspiring event to be at. So I've asked them to come to Madison. We're just working out some dates because there's so many things happening. It's tough at all levels, to find a night that's free. But we're going to host it at the middle school. April is Autism Awareness Month, so we're probably looking at April. It might be the end of March, or getting around spring break, so either right before or right after. David was a somewhat common, nonverbal, somewhat aggressive young child, nonverbal, and he just finished his student teaching. He goes to Notre Dame College and finishes student teaching at Notre Dame Elementary in Chardon in December. And so the book they wrote, which is both from the mom's perspective and David's perspective, is called Expect a Miracle. And so at our last 18 meeting with the administrators, I talked about having this, so we're going to try to advertise it as much as possible. It's not just for parents of students with autism. It's an eye-opening experience that when you think a kid can't, that you never give up, because you never know what that key is. And so that's kind of the perspective I have with gen ed and special ed on not selling our kids short, because you never know. And so keep looking for that key to open the door. And so when I have the date set, I will let you know. But it's a very good book, very inspiring. So David will give one presentation to the kids and then another to parents. And his mom speaks as well to the parents. So I'll let you know when it is, because it'd be nice to support it and then advertise it as much as we can. And I'll open it up well outside of Madison, and the SST will advertise it as well. So I want you to know that's coming up.
Thank you. All right. Moving into the recommendations of the superintendent. To engage in the following personnel actions as listed below. Provided that should any item included within this motion be declared by a court of competent jurisdiction to be void or illegal, all remaining items within this motion shall remain in full force and effect notwithstanding the status of the voided item. So we're asking for your approval tonight. And I have to say with deep regret, to accept the resignation of Christy May, Madison High School Band Director, effective the end of the 2015-2016 school year. To approve the following unpaid leave request of Amy Dodick, South Elementary Intervention Specialist, for the period of January 4th, 2016 through May 26th, 2016. We're asking you to enter into the following employment contracts as follows. The persons for the positions at the rate of compensation and other terms of condition of employment is listed below. Each of the following substitute teachers is approved by the Lake County Educational Service Center and/or Madison Local School District's Assistant Superintendent under a one-year limited substitute teacher contract for the 2015-16 school year, beginning with Sam Kohlrabi and ending with Holly Radsnake. To employ Mary Peterson under a long-term substitute contract from November 23rd to January 25th to perform the duties of Amber Salvabar. To approve a change of placement on the teacher's salary schedule pursuant to Article 12 of the MEA negotiated agreement for the following teachers who have satisfactorily completed additional training and/or coursework subject to verification by receipt of official transcripts. Mike Gilligan from MA to MA plus 15, Brian Gladwell from BA 160 to MA, and then the following persons each as a casual day-to-day substitute and at the board-approved rate of compensation: Brenda Miller, Catherine Clove, Kelly Kenneth, and Amy Grenard.
So moved.
A second.
Roll call, please.
May I just, I need to say something about Christy May. My daughters have both been under her direction for the last 11 years in the Madison local schools. And if I could keep her here, I would. She is everything that this district represents in her spirit, passion for the children, her musical talent. I couldn't have asked for a better mentor for my daughters in the last 11 years. And I spoke to Christy the other night. The pep band was performing at one of the boys basketball games, and I told her she is going to be greatly missed. She leaves with a heavy heart also, but she needs to be with her husband down in Columbus, so I told her I won't vote no tonight. And you know, it's so tough. She's been here with her daughter, and I'll see her in the grocery store on Sunday nights, and knowing that he's there in Columbus, working with children there, and she's here working with children, I know that's very tough on their family, so I wish her all the best. I just adore her, and I know all the Madison kids, the band kids, are really going to miss her.
I've worked with Christy for 14 years, because I was, we came in the same year together in Madison. I was assistant principal at the high school, and our connections even go back further than that. When she did her student teaching, she student taught with somebody who was a guidance counselor at Akron Central Howard with me, and he was that kind of band director, John Rogers, and so, we had that common connection, and she's going to be very difficult to replace. The reason she put this letter forward is she knew she was leaving. She doesn't know what she's going to do yet, but she put the interest of the district ahead of, her having a job so that we can start the search process, which will start up within the next month.
She is wonderful.
She just is. You can't, not even just from the musical point, but she's done so much as a teacher leader in this district, LPDC. She's had book talks with staff at the high school.
In the county as well, the Battle of the Bands, and she represents Madison, not only us, just all the districts, and just her relationships with all the band directors and the county has been wonderful. And we have to do this quickly, Mike.
Roll call.
Sean Douglas,
Yes.
Michelle Hayes,
Yes.
Kelly Tromba,
Yes.
Larry Armstrong,
Yes.
Jacqueline Asbill,
Yes.
vote is 5-0.
All right. The next item on the agenda is to approve the following revised job descriptions, which you received via email on Friday for the Director of Technology, the Assistant Director of Technology, and Technology Support Specialist.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Michelle Hayes,
Yes.
Kelly Tromba,
Yes.
Larry Armstrong,
Yes.
Jacqueline Asbill,
Yes.
Sean Douglas,
Abstain.
vote is 4-0-1.
All right, then the final, well, not final, but next motion is to accept, well, I can't even say it, so I'm going to try. Nana Bulashvili from Georgia, and that's not in this continent, as
I
a
was
foreign
wondering.
exchange student under the Foreign Links Around the Globe Incorporated at Madison High School for the 2015-16 school year, and to waive tuition payments pursuant to ORC and board policy.
I'll move.
Second. Any questions or comments?
I have had one of the foreign exchange students in my house, and they are the most pleasant people. She asked for a cup of tea, and I gave her a cup of tea, and I said, would you like another cup of tea later in the evening? And she said, I'll use the same tea bag, and she was just so sweet. Like, she never, I mean, those kids, it's wonderful to have them here, and all the support of the students around them. They enjoy learning from them as well, but she just was the most polite young girl that I've met, you know.
Who's their host family?
The Draguses. This was a sort of emergency placement. The student was in Geneva, but people didn't have transportation for her, and it just wasn't working out. So the Draguses brought her in right before Christmas, and then they were going to try and figure out what they were going to do after Christmas, and then they decided if they could keep her, they would. And so Tammy worked with the company to meet the training requirements and all of those things, and so they now have a girl in the house of Dragus boys.
Fun for her.
Yes.
She'll have a lot of fun with them.
Kelly Tromba?
Yes.
Larry Armstrong?
Yes.
Jacqueline Asbill?
Yes.
Sean Douglas?
Yes.
Michelle Hayes?
Yes.
Vote is 5-0.
All right, there's several resolutions this evening. The first, because it is School Board Recognition Month, and Jay was a active school board member for 29 years, and he gave us his resignation at the beginning of the month. We didn't have time to put together a resolution until tonight, so it's a resolution recognizing Jay Fabian for his years of service on the board. The next resolution is recognizing Hearn Plumbing and Heating as recipient of the Eastern Lake County Chamber of Commerce 2016 Business of the Year Award. The next resolution is the resolution recognizing Joseph and Mary Hata as the recipient of the Eastern Lake County Chamber of Commerce 2016 Citizens of the Year Award. And then the final resolution is a resolution recognizing the Christ Child of Western Reserve as recipient of the Eastern Lake County Chamber of Commerce 2016 Heritage Award.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any questions or comments?
Just a heartfelt thank you to Jay Fabian for putting in 29 years serving our students and our community. Really appreciate the dedicated service, and I'm happy for him that he will have more time with his grandchildren in Florida. I think that's where his calling is right now, and I'm glad for him.
Roll call?
Larry Armstrong?
Yes.
Jacqueline Asbill?
Yes.
Sean Douglas?
Yes.
Michelle Hayes?
Yes.
Kelly Tromba?
Yes.
Vote is 5-0. Michelle, in that blue folder are those resolutions which everybody needs to sign tonight because you'll be on tomorrow,
Right.
correct?
Did we pass them down there already?
I've
Yep,
decided
we're just waiting for Sean and Kelly, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
So I need to sign it. And then I have one item on the consent calendar this evening. It is to enter into the partnership agreement between Madison Local School District and Lakeland Community College, College Credit Plus Primary Pathway Partnership, and that becomes effective January 25th, 2016, and sort of rolls from this year's agreement.
I'll move.
Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Jacqueline Asbill?
Yes.
Sean Douglas?
Yes.
Michelle Hayes?
Yes.
Kelly Tromba?
Yes.
Larry Armstrong?
Yes.
Vote is 5-0.
Okay, now we are to our second public participation. If there's anyone in the audience that has anything that they want to say, now would be the time to do so. Okay. Do we have need for executive session? Okay. Motion for adjournment?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call?
John Douglas,
Yes.
Michelle Hayes,
Yes?
Kelly Trombo,
Yes.
Larry Armstrong,
Yes.
Jacqueline Asbill,
Yes.
opposed 5-0.